Previously on Reckless Attack. The Golden Tree Adventuring Guild made its way slowly through the city of Agmar. Slowly, because of the full-sized wooden carving of Alareth being carried by Checkers. They stopped to talk to the real Alareth, and then made their way to see Etris and his entry into the Fair of Progress. After his rather explosive demonstration, the party split to further explore the festival. Valeska and Selv headed to the Waveless Lake, and encountered an old friend. Kaskarin found himself at the Self-Defense Exhibition, coming face to face with the fighting prowess of Yanis Varga and Kavos Pyrelighter. And Checkers did some self-reflection as the evening turned to dusk. Find out what happens next on Reckless Attack.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Nathan.
I guess I should have.
Hello, Steve.
Maybe I should have gone even deeper and gone for like.
Hello.
I'm, introducing classic. Exactly. Actually, no. Just can you replace my hello with Sophie's hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
As that properly cultivates the kind of like midnight D-movie monster movie vibe that I was going for temporarily. You know, kind of like the that one. What's his nose? The guy in
Svengoolie?
Yeah, exactly. Svengoolie, or like the voice actor, the guy who did the Thriller music video, whose name I cannot remember. Vincent Price, exactly.
Great.
All
Steve, can you just come
I'm
up with a few more?
not gonna remember anything my character can do during this combat because that has all just kind of flooded in.
Just on every initiative, you'll just be like another 1980s horror reference.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody, welcome to Reckless Attack. Once again, Spooky Edition.
Ooh.
I am your Dungeon Master, Nathan. Excited to be here once more with my very positive, very feeling good, feeling safe players and their characters around the table once more. To my right is...
Hello, everyone. My name is Steve, and I am playing Lon Chaney tonight. No. Selv Asterlin, the Dragonborn monk, who, well, there's some stuff about to happen. So we had a little bit of discussion before this of what our game plan was, and I'm pretty sure that's right out the window right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, to my right,
Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I play Kaskarin Brightmane, the Dwarven Warlock, who is, we'll see how this combat goes, I guess. Doing fine, doing great. And to my right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan, and I play Checkers, the Grung Druid, and his trusty frog pals, Mango and Junior. And I will state on the record that Jump is the best first-level spell in the game. No arguments. Don't at me.
No notes. Get out of here.
Right.
These are facts.
Speaking of Jump, I don't know how to transition.
Speaking of jump, let's jump
jump
to the
on the
player
person
next
on the
to-
right.
Yeah, right. Good.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sophie, and I play Valeska Carter, the human astro cleric of the Arcana domain. Maybe? Sure.
Maybe? Double asterisk.
Right, yeah, there's an asterisk,
Yeah.
a smaller asterisk to the
Yeah.
asterisk.
Yeah.
There was lore. People might figure it out.
People might know. It's all published on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
It's out there.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, I feel like this episode's going to be a face-off between Jump and Protection from Evil and Good. In this situation, Protection from Evil and Good's not like flashy. It's not fun, but it really helps you out.
But
when
you know
need
what
it.
is both flashy and fun? Jump.
And sometimes helps you out.
Yeah, right. Occasionally.
Well, I think what we've come to the conclusion of is that the upcoming combat, and oh yes, dear listener, there is an upcoming combat, will just be, instead of any sort of use of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition mechanics, it will instead be two people who are taking turns roughly, we'll say 6 seconds at a time, talking about their preferred spells, one of them listing off 1980s horror references, and then, David, I don't know what you're going to do,
Yeah.
man. Good luck.
I personally think that what would be great is, Checkers and Val arguing about which spell would be better. And then, as the camera kind of is showing their argument, you see in the background, like, Selv get blasted. And it's like, skips down the, through the pavement. And you see Cass, like, rallying a bunch of people and, like,
and we're just like,
sending a
you
charge.
guys, while he's just, like, getting just destroyed.
You see, Val, if Selv had jumped, he could have jumped out of the way.
Val just conjures a chalkboard out of nowhere and is like, well, these are the pros and cons, and let's put it into a complex trigonomic
If we
battle
assign
map.
each one a numerical value.
Well, Checkers, if we assume that there's no friction and the Mothman is a perfectly spherical object.
And let's start with calculating it from a vacuum.
Yeah.
But you all, there's no more time for fun and games,
Oh, no.
for we have a combat that will be both fun and in a game. You guys were asked.
At least the stuffed sky whale
Made
is
it
out,
made it out.
out of harm's way.
If you believe in Taroth's ability to do that.
That is our truest legacy. That goes right into the vault of the Golden Tree.
That's right. You guys it is at the end of the day of returning. The wonderful festival. You guys are essentially the greatest festival adventurers of all time, having succeeded at a great many things and only failed spectacularly at a few of them. You came to the sunset rite of the Ember Sage obelisk. The bells began tolling and then continued tolling for not just the Mothman, but many Mothmen. Mothmans?
Ooh.
I don't know. Sound off in the comments.
A moth menagerie.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of true because you guys see it is fairly dark out. The sun has just kind of set, but it is still pretty well lit because of this large ritualistic pyre that has been erected that still has the obelisk at the center of it and those tiny green motes of flame going up into the sky, joining the stars. From out of the shadows, you begin to see a now unfortunately very familiar, we'll say, phenomenon of Mothmen, a true moth menagerie of foes. Some you recognize, some you do not. Suddenly, the bells toll. The four of you stand together next to Vina Calvetta, head of the Red Guard, and monsters are among you. These monsters form in all sorts of alien shapes and sizes. And roll for initiative, please.
Oh, no.
Anyone 15 or higher?
Oh, no.
10 or higher?
Selv with a 10.
5 or higher?
Sick. Oh my god, guys, what? No.
Checkers with 8.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the correct vibe, Sophie. The vibe on the Zang half the table was like, keep going.
Kaskrin also has a 6.
Nice. Before we get into true initiative, in almost slow motion, the four of you see these horrors emerge from shadows. It is so sudden and so widespread, you don't even get a good idea of how many of them there are. To cap it off, at the top of the bell tower that you guys are essentially underneath, this large pillar, you guys can all see an even larger than all the rest Mothman, still kind of amorphous in ways that the other ones weren't necessarily, but with a giant humanoid skull and all of its shadow trailing behind it up on the bell tower. You see this amorphous thing just extend an appendage from seemingly out of nowhere from its strange alien form and slam it into the side of the bell tower. What you guys see is not the crumbling of stone or of masonry, but instead imagine it's a real bummer because the only good example of this is not dramatic and not spooky. Imagine how strange this would be. You see, instead of that, instead of cracks, instead of dust flying, anything, you see almost like when a jumbotron, like one of the giant screens at a sports stadium made up of many other TV screens. When you see a couple of the TV screens are out or broken, that is what you see as this fist connects with the bell tower. And you see some crackles, and as if something strange has broken. You see it continue to slam over and over. But just imagine that going in the background as small cracks and small holes, seemingly in reality, are ripped by this creature. But that is not your first concern. Vina Calvetta, the head of the Red Guard, stands next to you all. She sidled up to you right as this attack was about to happen, give or take, not in a suspicious way. I realized I said it out loud. That's not quite what I meant. And immediately, like the four of you, knows what is happening, but jumps into action and starts yelling out orders to rally the troops. Essentially saying, form up, find your squads, try to buy some time. And you see all the guards, some of them seemingly knowing what's going on, others having no clue what's going on. Or like, everyone's seeing the monsters, but some of them clearly surprised and unprepared for what is happening. And she turns to you four and says, I brought an alarm with us. It's a bell. We'll have to move it away, but we just need time to get the bell out and raise an alarm, and other guards will come. I need the four of you for just a moment, just a few moments. Buy time for reinforcements and to get people out of here. And then, and she just looks up at what's at the top of the tower, and then we'll figure out what to do about that.
We're on it.
Cascarin, like the rest of the guilders, has been ready. He's been preparing for this, We knew this was happening all along. But as this creature starts slamming down on the bell tower, ripping holes in reality, it is hard not to feel that twinge of fear, of panic. Cascarin has been in this situation before. He's been in combat. He's seen people panic. And as Vina gives the order, he's also shouting to like the rest of the people, like, out! Everyone out! Get out of here! Run!
And you were so quick at reacting and so intentional, I guess, with your words and your actions, that you see people are almost like so shocked that they just start running and like listen to you.
I feel like Checkers responds to the situation a little bit differently than
You don't
others.
say.
Yeah, but Checkers is currently riding on top of Mango, and anyone looking at him can just see him kind of like shaking almost with excitement and anticipation, and just like under his breath he's like almost to the point where he's like not responding to anyone who's talking to him. He's just like so like amped up for what's about to happen.
Such an intense focus.
Right, being completely surrounded, seeing this nightmare monster starting to try and tear the clock tower from reality. He is so ready and so focused. Just go.
Awesome.
I imagine just like
as he takes out the grunk.
Exactly.
It's time the high overlord.
Checkers, no!
No. And because it got mentioned last time, Val/Sophie,
Yes.
you specifically asked some more about like, is there anything about like a ritual or about something else like that we would know about what's going on? And you obviously are the one who researched the most.
Yeah.
And obviously this was not what you expected.
No.
You don't need to make any rolls right now or anything like that, but immediately it clicks in your head of like, something's different. This doesn't line up with what we expected, what I researched. Something is off. This is not. Why are all these Mothmen here?
Yeah.
Basically.
There should only be one. There's not one.
There's only one. Why are there so many?
My calculations were correct, and there was one.
Yeah.
The answer was one.
The answer was always one. So, the four of you presumably turn to see what the nearest area that you guys can help in. And what you see is a Mothman that you have not encountered. You don't even see the main Mothman at first. What you see is a townsfolk, a city denizen, an Agmarian, start to run, maybe even after Cass called out, everyone get out of here, and does that kind of like skidding stop when a shadow of maybe sort of a humanoid shape appears in front of it. This person starts cowering and backing up, clearly terrified. And you guys trace a small line that goes from the foot of this creature back 20, 30 feet. And you see one of the classic large amorphous blobs with a snake skull on it. And as you watch, you see more tendrils snake out along the ground and begin to form more shadow humanoids that are now beginning to threaten not just fellow townsfolk, but you all. To describe the battlefield for you all and for the listener, there is a large creature in the middle of a whole bunch of other smaller creatures. There are also, amid this, 4 Agmarian individuals who are essentially surrounded by all of these strange shadow creatures that have all been cornered and are all clearly at risk. There is slamming sounds, there are screams, there are other, even less savory sounds happening all around you. And you see at least a dozen of these shadowy figures surrounding and kind of spurting out from this one main creature. You see its strange snake skull rotate around its mass and look at the 4 of you. Hey, Sophie, could you roll me a d4?
2.
You see it see you all, and it moves 2 of its shadow constructs over to the 4 of you. One comes up to Cass, and it kind of, you see it melt into the ground almost, and then just extend further out, and then reform right in front of Cascarin. And you see another one do the same about 10 or 15 feet, just a little bit behind it. And then it is going to move towards one of the people, and is going to attack it. Ooh, that's a 16 on the die. 6 points of damage to this townsperson. It is still up. But it is also going to make an attack against Cascarin.
Okay.
With one of its shadow people. And it's just a slam, basically.
Right.
Where it doesn't have any weapons or anything like that. You just see this humanoid creature lift up a heavy arm and try to just bring it down straight onto Cass like a hammer. That is a 17 on the die.
Hits.
Okay. That is 6 points of damage.
Oof. Okay. Cascarin tries to block this with his own hammer, but just the sheer force of this shadow creature coming down on him is enough to shake him, and he takes the full 6.
Selv is going to step up next to Cass and try to take out this thing.
Selv, I need some help over here.
Just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, it's so this is Steve, because Steve has come up for a name for these creatures, and I'm trying to figure out how Selv would introduce that name.
Begone. Insert.
Yeah. Selv will step up next to Cass and attempt to hit this thing, and just say,
Not today, slither hither.
That's not canon.
Yeah.
To be clear, Val, you explicitly know in your research. I don't know how you've never read about this thing, but you know it's like, nope, that's not the name of it for sure. No, just kidding.
Point of order, Selv, they don't slither. They I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Dematerialize
Yes.
and rematerialize.
I'm running through every combination of rhyming I can come up with: snake, cobra, asp, and it's just I can't come up with a good, So slither hither it is. Okay, so Selv is going to try to hit him with his quarterstaff. Try to hit this creature. First attack is a 2 on the die, but that's +5 for 7.
That is no.
Okay. Then he will kind of spin around and try to kick the creature as a bonus action. That's another 2 on the die.
No, bad start.
So Checkers, seeing the people surrounded by these strange shadow humanoids, is pointedly ignoring them.
Yep.
But you can just see his eyes have almost kind of like glazed over with just intense excitement and anticipation. And he almost hops off of Mango as he sees this shadowy humanoid slither 10 feet towards the group. He's going to use 15 feet of his movement to hop off of Mango, and Mango's going to charge forward and try to slam into the humanoid in front of him. So Checkers is going to command Mango to attack. 3 on the die. So that'll fail.
Probably, yes. Statistically, probably.
Checkers is going to summon up.
At least the die rolls are headed in the right direction.
Right? They're going up. Checkers is going to summon up some magical energy and cast the spell Summon Beast. So what happens is, as Checkers is sort of readying himself and preparing all this energy, the air around him starts to get warmer and warmer. From nothing, in the middle of the air, appears this like small bluish spherical frog. It's like a light baby blue with a big white spot on its belly. And then kind of crawling around on its back is this big butterfly with reddish and orangish wings. And every time it flaps, the air around it seems to get warmer and warmer. And it is just this small spherical frog and a butterfly just kind of flying in the air.
And it's just floating.
Yeah.
Kind of like around your shoulder.
Yeah, basically. This is Billiam.
Billiam, go!
We've never seen this before, but because it's a frog, I have to assume it's an ally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We've
All
never run
frogs
into,
are friends.
Yeah, we've never run into any frogs that
No,
have been.
absolutely not.
We finally fucking did it.
Yeah.
We added another frog to the goddamn stack.
It's a flying frog.
Technically not added to the stack.
So is
yet.
it's a blue sphere, Right. and then the butterfly is on top of Yeah. of Billiam.
Holding it?
Yeah, like Billiam doesn't really have like a defined head or back, so it's just kind of like
'Cause he's a sphere.
Because he's a sphere, so he's like carrying it, and Billiam has like little feet that you question if they could actually support his weight. But he's flying.
In the
so-
amount
yeah.
of time,
Yeah.
the immense amount of time you have during combat while
Yeah.
this is happening, you question whether or
Right,
not.
like Catchman like looks at it and then does like a double take of like, what is that? Like,
Yeah, in a classic, like, fucking magic's weird, man.
Yeah, right.
None of this works. This is all wrong. And Checkers magic especially is like, I don't know. It's like a crayon drawing come to life.
right, basically. Billiam is going to fly by and slam into the shadowy humanoid that is in front of the group.
Excellent. And the one that is on cast and self,
Correct. That's going to be 18 to hit.
that is a hit.
So a large muscular tongue comes out of Billiam and slams into the humanoid.
The
Large,
entire
muscular
sphere
tongue.
is just his tongue.
What a horrible thing.
It's just this like floating butterfly
Oh,
wing.
God.
It should be very cute, and it is, but also it's very bad.
It's like the whole body just inverts to get this tongue out like
basically.
20.
I don't like it. It's bad.
Basically.
Let's stop imagining.
Yeah. 9 damage.
Ooh.
And
Damn.
yeah. Billiam's gonna fly out, and because he has flyby, he doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity.
For those who might be curious at home, what stat block are you basing Billiam off of?
This is the Summon Beast aerial creature.
That's right. Perfect.
Yes.
I think
Freaking Ariel.
Val now has more ammo for that spell that does the psychic damage with like.
No, it's always a lamprey.
Anything else, Checkers?
That's my turn.
Kaskrin.
Kaskrin, he yells at the shadow creature in front of him. "Ugh, get out of the way! And he, as a bonus action, hardens the stone on his limbs, turning it from that dull brown into a sort of like bright cobalt blue, giving him additional defense, and then charges forward, trying to basically bulldoze this thing out of the way. Either to like pass through it as a shadow creature, or even just to charge past it to try to get to the people that the actual Mothman is attacking. Kaskrin will charge through this thing, taking an attack of opportunity.
Fucking cool. I'm imagining you like literally going through
Yeah,
the shadows.
Yeah, so that's like the idea. Like he doesn't even try to go around it; it just like dissipates and then reforms again, like it did when it showed up.
Absolutely. It's another 17 on the die.
Okay.
And another 5 on the die. 6 points of damage.
Okay, he takes a little bit less damage because of the protection, but boy, that still hurts. And Kaskrin reaches the Mothman and is like, hey, pick on something your own size! And just like trying to get in front of or between the people and it.
As you shout this out, the snake, the large snake head, turns down to you and then opens its strange mouth. And then you hear just a gong of a bell.
Belle has a lot of new points of information to take in.
Yep.
And she is observing William, the shade creatures, and there's just like, her brain's a little overloaded. And so all she can think to say as she dips her hand into a pouch that has some powder in it, and she goes up behind Selv and with 2 fingers covered in powder, draws a chalice on his back, casting protection from evil and good.
Ooh, cool.
And as she's drawing the chalice on his back, simply states, point of order, they're undulating, not slithering. And
Somehow worse.
Well, you come up with something that rhymes with undulating.
not the top priorities. Will move her full movement, doing her battle trigonometry, like to the left of the group, like kind of splitting
Circling around.
the parts, just away, so we're not all clumped together.
Yeah.
Seems good.
Yep.
Now, this is usually the time where I do a quick recap of like, here's where things are setting. It's not quite the top of the round though. It's the end of the round, and that means something is going to happen. Hey, Jonathan, could you roll me a d4, please?
Absolutely. That's a 3.
That's a 3. 3 shadow creatures.
Oh.
You see, once again, kind of collapse into the ground and then spring up 15 feet in another direction. Spoiler alert, they're all starting to swarm towards the 4 of you. Finally, at the end of the round, the various mortals will try to get the fuck out of here.
Please run, everyone.
So they'd move not super far away, but they are all trying to just scatter in all different directions, basically. But several of them are still very threatened, especially depending on how you guys roll on your d4s. Top of the round, it is the Mothman's turn. David, could you roll me a d4, please?
2.
It is going to move 2 of its shadow constructs. 1 towards one of the escaping people, and 1 towards Kaskrin. First, we'll do the one on the escaping person. Why not? Who has not been hit yet? Ooh, max damage. But it is not enough.
But a miss?
No, but it hits. But not enough to kill it. And you can see again, just another, like, punch outwards. Now on Kaskrin. Does a 16 hit?
It does not.
Yay!
Nice.
Good,
Yeah.
because it was another 5 on the d6.
Yeah. So Kaskrin is so fixated on the actual snake skull that he is almost blindsided by this creature, but his full plate armor takes the brunt of the attack.
Excellent. Now we'll take an action. It's going to do 1 attack against you, Mr. Kaskrin.
Okay.
18 to hit.
That hits.
Alas. Only 5 points of damage, though.
Okay. He's starting to feel it, but the extra density from his stone is protecting him for the moment.
And then it is going to, as its second action, is going to take a swipe at Selv with disadvantage because of your protection against good and evil through one of its shadow constructs. Does a 14 hit Selv?
It would have, but his armor class is 16 now after hitting 4th level.
Hooray!
Nice.
Level up. Now, Selv, a rebuttal, sir. And also as a reminder, what you guys know is that hitting at least these shadow constructs also is not doing as much damage as you would think. But you also hope that Selv can do full damage.
All right, I will use a key point and I will use Step of the Wind, which allows me to use Disengage as a bonus action.
Excellent.
Essentially, we're going right into their...
Right into the snake pit.
There is the main Mothman, and right next to him is Cass. Hey, that's
Hi.
good.
Hello.
That's
Buddy.
neat.
Yes.
And then also 4 shadow creatures.
yes,
All
well,
in a circle around
It
them.
was also Selv noticing that otherwise it would be just Cass surrounded by...
Correct.
Selv, you made it.
Got it.
Selv will then take one attack at the big old creature there.
Mhm.
So that's going to be a 10 to hit?
Not quite.
Okay.
So this thing just kind of like undulates out of the way.
Checkers is seeing Selv and Cascarin run up to the main shadow creature and is like,
Hey, wait for me. Mango, Billiam, go, get him.
Mango and Billiam are going to keep striking against the shadow creature that has taken a hit or two. Mango's going to make an attack using Checkers' action, I'll say. 11 to hit.
That hits.
Nice.
They're pretty big lumbering creatures, so
6 points of bludgeoning damage as Mango slams into it.
Mango slams into the creature, and it has, unlike when Cass was kind of dramatically going through it, kind of like meets it with resistance, and then you see it kind of like glitch out
Oh, wow.
and disappear. And the shadow tendril be retracted back into the main creature, which shudders and seems to take some damage from that.
Very cool.
Ooh.
So, Billiam, seeing that the shadow creature just disappeared, is going to redirect and move towards one of the shadow creatures that is next to Cascarin, even though there is another shadow creature next to a fleeing civilian. Billiam is going to lash out his tongue towards the shadow creature. 13 to hit.
Hits.
12 points of bludgeoning
Damn,
damage as
Billiam.
Billiam slams in and flies off.
This one, too,
Nice.
shudders. Again, you do less damage. You can tell you do less damage than you would think, but is enough to not only have this thing glitch out and then disappear and kind of be retracted back into the main entity, but the main entity also just like shudders a little bit. You can see kind of trembles as it also appears to take some damage.
Are there any sort of like tents or places that checkers can get higher up off of the ground level?
Well, you could climb into the pyre and up on the ziggurat,
Maybe, but probably not.
but way out, kind of where you guys are.
The
It's
pyre
kind of
is actually on fire.
yeah, right, exactly. But kind of where you guys are at, not really. Like
Okay.
it's pretty much in a big clearing. There might be some trees kind of nearby, but not in the immediate kind of battle area.
Okay. Checkers is going to kind of follow Val and just circle around the battlefield, getting a little bit closer, but pulling out 3 magic stones from his pocket and putting them in his hat. And Junior just like reaches up and grabs one.
Meow.
And
Meow.
that is Checkers' turn.
Hello there, you lovely listener. It's Jonathan here with the midroll. One of the highlights of my week is when I get to hear about your favorite moments from the episode. So let us know on Twitter at reckless_attack. While you're at it, why not let others know what you like about the show? Give us a rating, leave us a review, or just tell your friends about the show that you're having so much fun with. Thanks again for spending this time with us today. And if you spend a little extra time at the end, you'll get a fun blooper from this episode. That's all for the midroll. Hope to see you next week.
Cascarin yells at the snake creature, "Your fight's with us!" He is going to take his hammer and just like full force try to swing for the middle of this creature, just a mass of darkness. That is going to be a 17 to hit,
Boy, howdy does it. Ooh,
dealing 11 points of damage.
that does as much damage as you thought it would,
Nice.
which is quite unlike all of your other experiences with this creature.
He can sense just from like the way that the people are moving around him that the civilians are dispersing in different directions, which ones they are compared to the shades. And so without even looking, he uses Servant of the Citadel, and the fleeing civilian behind him, suddenly next to it appears like a brief image of a mannequin holding a kite shield, ready to block the next attack from one of these shade creatures.
Love it. Awesome.
He turns to Selv and he says, Self, with me, let's get this thing.
I'm trying.
Working so hard.
Val will continue moving her full movement further around the battlefield, and then will, as she's running, target one of the shade creatures. She sees Cass has cast the Servants of the Citadel on one, so she will target a shade that is threatening another civilian, and will cast Sacred Flame.
Cool.
Which is a DC 14 Dex save.
Dex save. They're not particularly dexterous. That's a natural 1.
Wow.
Hey. It will take 7 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
It's
As
still up.
a bonus action, Val will cast Spiritual Weapon, and it will appear over the main snake skull creature.
Perfect.
This will be her chalice with the eye upon it, and it will make a slam attack.
Does it a smack?
It does a smack. That's a 2 on the die. So
What's the total?
8.
I don't think you... Yeah, I imagine you probably don't have a big enough bonus. But
No.
ACs are pretty low in this combat. Spoiler. I'm going to say all of the people are going to move now. First, we'll say the woman who has the protection from Kaskarin. She just now is so afraid, saw this strange flash of light in front of her, and these things not just swiping at her, but like following her and chasing her down. She, I'm even imagining, is like fallen onto the ground now, and this thing, as she scoots away, tries to take another huge slam, and you know that this slam, if it connected, would absolutely kill this person. What is her saving grace look like, David?
So the mannequin, just at the point of impact, materializes in his full form and deflects the blow with his kite shield, pushing it out of the way. And the punch from this shadow creature impacts the ground and breaks the bricks and kicks up dust
Awesome.
where it landed.
So she is able to move her full movement. I know she said she was on the ground, blah, blah, blah. You get it. It's drama, damn it. And so she moves her full movement out of the way, and she is out of the combat. Steve, could you roll me a d4, please?
Oh, no.
The question is, can I roll it well?
Do you want it to roll well?
1.
Yeah.
You rolled very poorly. Congratulations.
That was a bad roll.
The snake creature, having all of its appendages start to be retracted into it, realizing that there are now 2 warriors kind of bearing down on it in Selv and Kaskarin, can only move one of its shadow creatures, and it is going to move it 15 feet kind of in the general direction of where Checkers and Val is. But that'll be all that it can do. Cass and Selv are still face-to-face with this large creature with all of its tendrils out. There are only 3 shadow creatures kind of in melee combat with the 2 of you, and then Checkers and Val are kind of circling around the side-ish in the same direction, or at least ish together, while weird spectral frogs are using their horrible tongues. I guess that's the recap of the round.
Yeah.
Top of the round. Could you roll me a d4 there, Sophie?
1.
Jerks. It moves another one as a bonus action over towards Checkers, and is going to do a slam upon you.
All right.
It's a 5 on the die. It again just kind of very it's again very, very lumbering. All of these are very telegraphed. It's not hard to move or to get out of the way as it just kind of slams down on you.
I just imagine Checkers moving to the side and trying to trip a shade.
Yes.
And then as an action, it is going to do a slam, we'll say, upon old Selvarino over there. Natural 1.
Ooh, nice.
On max damage, so
Nice.
got real lucky. And then, is it going to move a shade? Is it going to move a couple shades? I think so. I think it's going to move a couple shades. Hey, Jonathan, roll me a d4, please. You
1.
absolute pieces of shit.
Well, now that we know what we need to roll.
Yeah, right? Boy, it's really taking advantage of rolling 2s and 3s the whole time.
Yeah, right.
It moves one of the ones that's kind of not by any pedestrians now, or by you guys, kind of from the back. You see one reform from 20 or 30 feet away and kind of appear a little bit closer to the melee combatants in Selv and Cass. Fuck. And that's its turn, I guess. That's all the things that it does, because you guys are just very bad at rolling d4s.
Selv is going to spend another key point for Flurry of Blows.
Seems good. Hey, when you roll damage, roll an extra d6 on each attack.
Ooh. All right.
God, that's so many dice,
Yes.
man. That's awesome.
So, all right. So there's going to be 3 attacks. Not that anybody can see this that's listening, but this die is for the staff, and the other ones are the unarmed attacks.
Got
so
it.
Okay. Here we go.
So many dice.
And nothing in double digits on the die.
Oh.
Okay. However, these are +5. So the staff attack is an 11 to hit.
That's a miss.
The main creature targeting, right?
Yeah. Then we have a 13 to hit.
That hits.
13 hits. Okay, so the 14 also hits. We have a total of 8 points of damage on one of the flurries, and then 4, 5, 8 points of damage on the second flurry.
Nice. I thought you rolled 2d4 and 2d6 and got a total of 8 damage, and I was like, dang.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Same. I was like, guys, that's not how this is supposed to go. So, Selv, you take a big swing with your quarterstaff, and it manages to just barely get out of the way. But then when you connect either with your fists or headbutt it, I don't know what Selv's style in this particular moment is.
It's actually, he swings around and tries to kind of kick it, and then when he lands, it's just a punch forward.
And you can see this, Cass, as well. You know you made solid contact for the first time against any Moth Man creature that you did. You managed to just, like, really wail on it. But when Selv hits, you see it's almost as if it, like... What's a good way to put it? I wanted to say it connects even gooder. And that's not quite right. But you
more
can see
solid.
That, yeah, it's somehow even more solid. Like
It
you're
almost
still
feels like corporeal and not a shade.
Exactly. Where for you there was still something there. But you can tell, like, Selv, it hits full contact each time when he kicks it and when he punches it.
So Checkers has sidestepped an attack from one of the shadow creatures that has materialized next to him, and he just looks at it in what he assumes is its face and just starts like as
the villain arc begins.
Actually,
what do you mean
what
begins?
Yeah, I know.
What you don't know
Overt
is
villain act.
that is the semantic component, or the verbal component for every one of Checkers'
why
spells.
does Checkers cackle so much?
Right, yeah.
What's going on? But Mango from behind is going to leap onto the shadow creature and try to slam into it.
Awesome.
As Checkers is staring at this thing. Natural 20.
Wow. Absolutely. Give me some fucking damage rolls.
11 points of damage.
Okay. This thing also dissipates and is retracted and does a little bit of extra damage.
Mango just kind of leaps onto this thing and smashes it into the ground, and you can just see like the shadowy tendrils kind of try to get out from under him, fail, and then just vanish.
When that happens, immediately, as you do that last bit of damage and you see the reverberations go all the way back to the creature as it kind of reabsorbs this essence, it lets out another just very loud bell sound. I'm imagining Cass and Selv in melee combat, clearly facing this thing, knowing that they're surrounded on all sides, but being focused on this the main Mothman creature. Just sees in the peripheries the shadow creatures around them disappear. And then a large shadow begins looming as 5 of the shadows that were previously in the combat coalesce into one giant shadow construct. It looks like it's the same creature basically, but is 12 feet tall now, and dense and big, and everyone now sees that, good news, you're not surrounded by 4 to 5 things anymore. Bad news, there's a hulking shadow creature right behind you. Anyway, Checkers, what would you like to do the rest of your turn?
Billiam is going to come around and do a flyby attack on one of the shadows that is kind of getting close to Val with his large muscular tongue. 15 to hit.
That hits.
12 points of damage.
Dang.
As Billiam just kind of like flies over and just smacks this thing in the head.
It is also dead.
Nice.
So once again, you send reverberations up this creature. Those who are in melee combat sees that it's starting to feel pretty rough.
Okay. And Checkers, seeing the large shadow begin to materialize, just again fixates on this thing, pulls out his crossbow and loads a stone into it, and just fires it at the large creature.
Oh my god, I just got like an image. Do you remember those like you're firing a crossbow, it's like a crossbow bolt magic stone thing, whatever. I'm imagining instead of a crossbow, it's like those infomercial marshmallow shooters. Just poof, poof, poof. Anyway, please carry on.
Yes. 12 to hit.
That hits.
8 points of bludgeoning magical damage.
It appears as though that does full damage.
Nice.
Come on, Val, let's go.
So, Kaskrin and Selv were surrounded by all of these shadows, just sort of retreating towards the main snake body. He takes a large swing, in a giant arc with his hammer, trying to hit as many of them as he can, but it just contacts empty air as suddenly 5 of these shadows just disappear into the ground, and then next to both of them, they rematerialize into this giant creature. It's like, oh, as Kaskrin looks up to this thing.
Oh, that's bigger than Selv?
Selv has his focus on the main snake creature, and so Kaskrin turns around back to back, charges his hammer with magical energy, casting Heavy Blow, and brings it down against the new creature as hard as he can, using his newly triple weighted very heavy hammer.
Sick.
That is going to be 19 to hit.
Yes.
That is going to be 17 points of damage as he brings his hammer on this thing. Can you please make me a Constitution saving throw?
I can. 18 on the die.
That succeeds. So with even as much damage and as much force as Kaskrin is trying to hit this thing with, this creature is not stunned. It still has, all of its abilities.
But that hurt it a lot. It's already not feeling super great.
As a bonus action, Kaskrin casts Servant of the Citadel on Selv, and you can feel yourself just with a small little ally, a little buddy next to you. little guy.
Much less dramatic version than the last time.
They can't all be dramatic, right?
Yeah, right.
Some of them just have to be hey, he's a guy.
Selv just feels somebody elbow him and be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, right.
I got you, bud.
You doing all right? This guy just has a little punch shield, it's you got one of the squires or something.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, you dropped this?
Yeah. Well, they can't all be gems.
Yeah. And this is a class ability, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Val will move her spiritual weapon from the main snake creature over the new construct and try to hit it with the chalice. 10 to hit.
That's a hit.
Hey!
Wow.
Cool, great. 7 points of damage for that one.
Yowza also does full damage.
Great. Cool. And it seems like we have a few more shades hanging around. So Val will cast Magic Missile.
Seems good.
Because this is fun.
Roll me some damages.
So I'm just going to do it at first level. So that will be 3 darts.
Wait. Is this creature's future so bright that it has to make shades? That is a reference that I'm getting a bunch of blank stares.
No, I got the reference.
Future so bright, you got to wear shades.
I like how apropos of nothing it was, where it's just wait.
I have a joke that must be heard. We now returning to you.
Yeah. It got stuck on my hand.
Oh my god. You guys didn't
that
see
was
it.
bad. 2 1s and a 4.
So total is 6.
Yeah.
9.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and
D4
the
plus 1.
And the pluses.
Yeah.
That's enough to kill another one. Your
They
magic?
all targeted different shades.
Oh, got it.
There's kind of 3 on the back half of the battlefield that are closest to citizens who are still running away. So Val would have cast it on each of those.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to do?
Continue my jaunt around. Val's just going for a lap.
Yeah, got it. Scoping things out.
Power walking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, David, could you roll me a d4, please?
Roll one. 2.
Okay. 2's pretty good. 2 of the shades, kind of again from the back lines, from farther away, now that especially a lot of the civilians have been rescued, are now starting to make their way. One starts to seem like it's both intercepting either one of the remaining stragglers or Val, not sure, and another one seems to be moving kind of around the main creature, presumably to go over towards Selv and Kaskrin. All the other various people get the hell out of there. I think there's only one individual left who is still in harm's way, and that is the end of the round. Cass and Selv are in melee combat. They are surrounded by
Yes,
2
we are.
very large creatures with 3 more creatures barreling down on them of the shadow constructs. Checkers and Val are still keeping a nice distance away as Val is doing a nice romp around the battlefield, but also sees that at least one shadow construct is starting to bear down on her as well. And then Checkers is just giggling off on the side.
Checkers is just like vibing. He's like dancing out over there, like with Billiam.
And Billiam and Mango are here.
What a blessed combat. I don't know.
Indeed. Okay. Hey, Steve, could you roll me a d4, please?
Sure. Ooh, 3 this time.
3. That's what I like. That's the good stuff. 3 shades move. 1 from the back kind of, again, starts moving and circling Kaskrin and Selv.
Yep.
But not quite there yet. However, 2 other ones do move up right to where Kaskrin is.
It's bad, you guys.
And they're going to make attacks. 3 on the die. Slam number 2. 17 to hit.
That hits.
4 points of damage.
Kaskrin takes a little bit, but fortunately his rocky armor is still protecting him.
And now, the Moth Man is going to take an attack against Selv.
All right. This is a disadvantage.
Yes, thank you. Misses with the disadvantage, so thank you for the reminder. And thank Val once more.
There will be a thank you to Val.
I think it's actually just going to do a second attack against you. It's pretty dumb. Rolled another 2 on the die, so 2 misses as it just tries but fails to just bring down its weird pseudopod on you.
Selv kind of like slides to one side, a bit away from Cass, and then just same thing you've heard anytime you've been near him when he's done this. It's that intake of breath, and then as he breathes out a cone of cold.
And with the intake of breath, Kaskrin realizes what's going on and like ducks over to the side.
Yeah. Any creatures within that area need to make a Constitution saving throw DC 11.
2 of the small shades, including one of the ones on Cass, and one kind of making its way around, and then the snake Mothman, the snakeman.
The slither hither.
Nope. That is a pass for the big guy.
Stop trying to make slither hither a thing.
That is a pass for the one who's kind of off of Cass, and a failure for the one who's on Cass.
Okay, so the one that failed.
And roll an extra d6.
Oh, all right. I would be happy to.
That's a 1.
All right.
Bummer.
So the one that failed takes 9 points of damage. The 2 that succeeded take 4 points of damage.
The one on Cass is dead.
Yes.
Nice. Ooh. All right.
So you can see now the creature is looking very unstable and very unsteady. Like, in kind of the same way that when you would kill a shade, it would look a little like kind of glitchy and twitch. Now this is kind of starting to look unstable. Now it is the big guy's turn, and he's going to do a slam. Would you like odds or evens, David?
Evens.
Does a slam against Kaskrin.
Boo.
The odds are against you.
I hate you.
Ooh, 16 to hit.
Misses.
Okay, just this one big wind up, and you see it start to bring its big fist down right as you're cowering from Selv's cold breath.
That movement as Kaskrin sidesteps is just enough to just barely dodge this creature.
Okay.
So Mango and Billiam have been kind of swarming around Checkers, running interference, trying to keep some of these smaller shades off of him and Val. And now that the battlefield's a little bit more clear, both of them are going to go straight into the center of the fight. Mango's going to leap onto the shade that's currently harassing Kaskrin.
Awesome.
And try to slam it to the ground. That's going to be 15 to hit.
Hits.
8 points of damage as Mango leaps onto this thing,
Okay.
trying to keep it down.
Doesn't quite kill it.
Billiam flies around the combat and lashes his tongue towards the smaller one that's around Selv. 17 to hit.
Good hits.
9 points of
This
damage.
is another small one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Checkers once again loads another stone, grabs it from Junior, and fires it towards the large shade that is currently trying to slam Cascarin into the ground.
Awesome.
26 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
8 points of damage
Nice.
as rocks and frogs go flying in all these different directions.
Hey, could you describe your kill, please?
Oh, boy.
On the big shadow creature?
So Checkers is actually kind of having a little bit of fun at this point. He was like super focused for a minute, but with this last throw of the rock, he actually does a backflip and fires wildly at this thing, just trying to like smash a rock into it. And kind of unexpectedly, actually, the rock kind of flies through it and causes it to dissipate into a bunch of small tendrils of shadow. And Checkers is just like, ow, ha, nice.
Cascarin sees the rock that Checkers fired blast through this creature. He instinctively reaches towards it and sort of like sends it on an arc, flying back.
Cass establishes gravity around
Yeah,
himself.
like so Checkers' rock swings around as if like caught by an orbit and just like rockets back in our direction, headed towards the construct. He casts Catapult at 2nd level.
Conservation of angular momentum.
Please make me a dexterity saving throw.
That's a 15 on the die.
Okay, so the rock passes harmlessly through the first construct and then barrels towards the main snake creature.
3 on the die. Failure.
Nice. That's going to be 15 points of damage as the magical stone impacts the snake creature, bullseye in its mask.
As this rock comes hurtling at the creature, like you said, it hits it square, almost like dead center on the skull. And it shatters its forehead. It starts glitching out even more before all of the shadow constructs are reabsorbed into it. And it gets larger and larger and starts floating up off the ground.
I don't think it's gonna stop.
Second boss phase. Second boss phase.
And then it implodes on itself. And all of the darkness is absorbed into the skull and is just gone in a mote and then gone completely. And the creature is dead. And as you guys are about to turn your attention to anyone nearby, you hear a voice ring out of Vina Calvetta saying, "We need help! The alarm! We can't get it!" And that's where we'll end this week's session, everybody. Congratulations, you've survived so far, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Remember, he had a ointment for after that was needed.
We had to carry him out on a stretcher. It was the whole thing.
Yeah, we are not prepared
He
for
is
that.
absolutely either still there or is recuperating back at Guildhall.
I feel like we probably would have been like, Farragut, maybe you take him home.
Yeah.
Knowing
Yeah, right.
what's about.
Once he's stable.
How is close is the medical tent to where the Moth Man attack will be? I think that would be our deciding factor.
It's like it's not super close.
Okay. Then
But
we'd
either
probably-
way, they would probably be like trying to get him out of there as quickly as possible. Because just having a toasted man on a stretcher is not like the
Toasty.
festival vibe if they
Right.
can move him back home.